nodes, they actually allow newcomers to sync up to the network. What you do have to keep in Kaspa is the UTXO set, which the UTXO set is just simply every single address and their balance. And this is kept forever. This is just to ensure that every single address that has a specific balance is verified and checked against the UTXO set to make sure that no one's getting Kaspa that they should not have acquired. So that's all fairly acquired. And so in Kaspa, I only have to keep about 2 to 3 days of data, then that gets pruned away, and then I don't gotta keep downloading the past history. The only benefit of archival nodes for Kaspa is to run explorers if you want to do so, which we have people who are doing that. But if there was literally just one archival node left in the whole world for Kaspa, it wouldn't matter. This doesn't centralize Kaspa. Kaspa is still just as decentralized because it's not dependent on archival nodes to exist like Bitcoin is. And this also prevents us from having to worry about the fact that someone may inscribe something into Kaspa, because obviously I'm not an advocate of inscribing anything inappropriate on these chains. You shouldn't do that. But if it does happen within Kaspa, I'm not forced to download that and store that on my computer forever. It will be pruned away, it will be deleted, and I no longer have to worry about that. And then on top of that, in Kaspa, no one's using UTXOs to store data, which I did talk about how in Bitcoin they're using UTXOs to store data, arbitrary data, and Kaspa doesn't really happen because of certain KIPs that were implemented that prevent people from storing data with really, really small transaction dust, because that's pretty much how they do it in Bitcoin. They use very, very small amounts of sats to be able to store data, and this doesn't really happen in Kaspa because it will prevent people from trying to store data or use Kaspa in a way that's just using very, very little amount of Kaspa to transact with it. So at the end of the day, most people are actually just using payload data to store arbitrary content on Kaspa. And then this, of course, gets pruned away. So you don't have to keep it forever. So in conclusion, Casper presents humanity with a monetary network that strictly does not have to only be monetary. It allows a lot more use cases that go beyond just monetary use cases, which just makes Casper a lot more versatile and can attract all sorts of users, and just gives humanity the freedom of choice to have Caspa be what they need it to be. And this is why I always say Caspa meets users' needs and ask at internet level speeds with very, very high decentralization, very, very high security. And so hope you guys enjoyed this video.